this map in all of Stage 3 of Game Changers. Played it a bunch back in Stage 2 with, you know, different compositions mixed in here and there, but with Jazzykins on the Neon, no breach, interestingly enough, so the setup not as powerful as some other compositions.
But here we go. It is the best of the West. EMEA's first versus NA's best. Only one can continue here at Game Changers Champions.
We know there's a bunch of Guild fans in the crowd. Some C9W cheers broke through against G2 previously as well. So lots to be said right there as Cloud9 5 players geared up outside of B. I noticed Claudia put a shorty down inside of tower. So keep your eyes on that as the execute looks to come through very, very shortly.
Guild are running just that solar controller on the Viper, but she provides quite a lot of stall when you're on that defensive side. You see that orb already slowing C9 down.
I think Katsumi actually used 2 stars there. Only has the 1 remaining in this round. She's playing outside of B main. The flash, the late reaggression from Smurfette and the team interacts with Katsumi. She's able to find the first. It's traded out, but Jazzy is there. C9 with the advantage.
Patience rewarded, and look at Mel. She's wrapped all the way to the north side, and with no Cypher cam up this side, wide open. Jazzy, another big kill, and C9 will have the post plant.
Very calm calling there from Cloud9 as they showed some presence outside of B, fell off, and then re-aggress when Guild pop out from them. They find those picks and spin it right around. That's the calm you expect. The leadership of Mel at work.
Anya and Ness left, two of the top performers for Guild in their match yesterday, but they set up from Cloud9 so hard to breach. Mel the first point of contact, and she's able to dodge that flash. Alexis ready to swing off of her as well, with Guild going so slow. Their opportunities starting to drain. Now he's spotted, but setup just too strong.
C9W making quick work right there, only losing Katsumi in the process to finish things off. And I think there's so much to dive into with these compositions. I feel like we just get straight into that because Cloud9 not rocking the breach, right? One of the most powerful things you can have for sort of A main control. I think it's really interesting how they're going to try to follow up off of Alexis's utility, right? Using the cats to maybe open door because you don't have a raised boombot, for example, to accomplish that.
Yeah, talk to me about this KO pick as well. A big pivot from the breach that Cloud9 used to play and that most teams do play on this map.
Yeah, previously Bob has been playing the KO. Alexis was in breach duty, so it really does put a lot of reliance on Bob's the sole flasher for the team to get things going. I think it does make playing both sides of the map a little bit more challenging too when you don't have that double flash initiator to set up your Neon and Chamber to take early fights.
And that's exactly it. I think it makes the job of Jazzykins just a little bit harder in this comp, particularly when they are attacking. You don't have that stun for the early fights. It has to be a bit more coordinated with those flashes from Bob in order to make those plays work.
Yeah, the other thing too is Jazzykins has to really be concerned about the Cypher tripwires. Like Roxy, the most based Sentinel player at Game Changers Champions, she's always, you know, forgetting about the Chamber and playing the Killjoy and the Cypher. But I think Cypher is a legitimate counter pick into the Neon, right? Without the raise to break the tripwires and all this stuff, the Neon can struggle and sort of get ahead of herself running into the trips. Already you see that Jazzy stalled out.
Yeah, that she is. On site is Roxy and actually finds one there. Trade not to come through yet. Smurfette has found another. C9W a little bit stalled out, but are holding strong. Roxy, a Spectre recovered, but very low on HP.
They know she's down underneath on B site. Watching Mel come on through. Smurfette is able to find a kill. Get on out of there. 25 HP though puts her in a nearly impossible situation. Mel is holding the angle and takes her down.
Still, that damage fantastic out of Guild. C9 will have to reinvest heavily or have a pretty rough true bonus into the third.
And that was just like a perfect example of the Cypher tripwire in action because it's Neon flying out in front of the pack, getting hit by it. And what it does with her snapping back, the team not breaking it, is it turns Alexis into the entry, and that's not ideal.
Yeah, and it is just like the perfect anti-Neon composition. When you have that raise, when you're diving, you're satcheling it, it's going to break those trips for you. But here, a lot of the pressure is on Alexis and Bob's utility to be able to clear out those trips.
Big Southside crunch on the way here for Guild. They have the rifles in hand, and they want to go sprinting back at Cloud9 White. Smurfette is here.
The flash from Bob, though, lined it up for a moment. They'll reaggress in on you ready. Smurfette close. Guild wants nothing more. They'll get out of this one with their player advantage.
It's a slow A main play from the two controller Senti duo. Ness and Roxy come on forward. Ness finds a couple, commits to the spray as Roxy finishes everyone off. Only Alexis to remain alive, and they're coming around from all different corners, but she is so good, it's a 3K!
Caught on the reloader, 1 versus 2, C's ready. It's Claudia caught in it, half HP, but the angle well held. And Guild hold on, that third round converted for them.
Looked like a moment Alexis could spin a miracle, but well thought through setup from Guild. Initially pushing down out of B main. I actually really liked the patience shown from both Roxy and Ness. You can see they walked up A main, and then as soon as the chamber dies, that tripwire not actually giving the protection that C9W were relying on it to have right there. Maybe missed in the comms, maybe missed in the chaos of the round, but it's a perfect timing on that walkout.
Nice attempt from Alexis, though. She's been having a fantastic tournament thus far for Cloud9 White. One of their players online that tends to be on the lower end of the scoreboard, very much being that role player. But here at LAN, she has been activated.
She has been so good, and in round 4 has access to that ultimate, so can use that similar to a breach and sort of scout out all of B site and send the Prowlers, and Neon is going to go sprinting right behind it.
Look at Roxy. She not only has a tripwire, but a shorty as well, prepped in heaven. That is unavailable space. Ness will anchor on the site as well. Needs a second here, damaged up by the ult, and Bob holding the flank. Smurfette is down. There's a second player here. They absolutely know about it. So now in trouble is Anya. This is a tough decision. Do you commit to the flank? Do you fall back out? And C9 is pushing the issue.
Yeah, they got to push it back. Bob is able to find the kill, but Roxy, they know, remains in tower. That is going to signal to Cloud9 White, ignore B, sprint all the way over to A, but their positions are seen, and Claudia is going to beat them on the rotate.
And look at her utility. Stun and a flash to be able to stall this one on. How much can she do? Roxy so far away. That's been a utility invested. Claudia on the swing. She's playing this careful balance. You don't want to concede the site, but you don't want to give away your life. And C9 do get the plant.
Roxy goes all the way A main. She's going to be here on such a fast timing. Will Cloud9 White be prepared?
Is Alexis holding for this? Is Alexis ready? She's holding the other side. Takes down Claudia, the second player here. And look at Bob, the awareness. Tucks close on site instead. Now Alexis has picked up this angle. The timing is there for her. Roxy down, 2 for Alexis, a third to C9.
Okay, Alexis, keep on showing us what you got. That is just crisp out of her round after round. Up to 6 here, started the playoff with that ultimate over towards the B side, and I think it's smart from Cloud9 White. Again, without the raise, it's a little harder to sprint up into topside tower. You also don't have the breach concuss for that, so instead, looping around, attacking the site, and dealing with tower later. They weren't actually able to remove Roxy from that position, but Cloud9 White make the correct call, rotate off, and win out with Alexis. She knows who she is.
Oh, yeah, she does. And I think the setup for Guild has been very interesting thus far. You kind of have a combination of the heavy stall with your Cypher, with your Viper. You can play these really entrenched setups. And you also have Smurfette on your team, who just wants to push and take an opening gambit every single round. So they've been really balancing with these heavy one-sided stacks where the Neon is pushing the other side for these kind of late-round flanks.
And the heavy stack is a little bit different to other comps, because usually you play 4 players on one side and the Chamber on the other who can take a fight and then TP off, and you can still play 5 players on the retake. They're not afforded that same luxury, it does seem. So you can maybe use the Cypher to get the info, but you don't have the chances in terms of actual fighting power to perhaps find an early pick. Although if Cloud9 White do run into the Cypher late, it could be an issue for them. Still, Bob will have the knife, and that could be an issue for Roxy playing so close on slant on site. If you get hit by the knife, the utility falls apart, and all of a sudden the trades and the swing from Smurfette backside is not going to be there.
Flash already in. Jazzy on the run, finds Smurfette, and just wants to disengage.
Get the pick and then instantly sprinting back over towards A. You can see Mel was posted here for quite some time. Still a player in the way. Claudia not going to be an issue for Mel, though, as her and the team continue to move on to A.
On in a position to maybe try and fight through this smoke, but she's not really being given an opportunity by Cloud9. Plant to come through. This one looking clean thus far. It's all going to be from spawn on this retake for Guild.
Now, Bob was watching the flank for the time being, and Mel still posted up. Actually decides to fall off, so it may be Ness waiting for another cycle on that Viper wall. 4 more seconds before she could potentially pop that again. She's actually just got a shorty, so not ideal whatsoever. As the Sheriff will try and take the first contact here with Roxy. It's a little bit labored from Jazzykins, but the kills come in at the end. Alexis with another couple.
Yeah, Prime Gaming flawless in that one. I love that post-plant setup from Cloud9 White. In a lot of compositions, in most, I would say, on Fracture, you're playing offsite, you're relying on that breach and brim utility to close out. Cloud9 doesn't have that. Instead, they're happy to play these more entrenched post-plants and just trust their crossfires to win out.
Yeah, I actually wonder if Bob has some kind of a C4 lineup from back in attacker spawn, because usually if you have a Brimstone, that's who's watching flank, and you have the Molly to sort of follow up there. So something to keep our eyes on as we continue to move in throughout this game. But I think Guild, right, they need to be aware that Cloud9 White aren't just full committing into the sites. That was a really clever play going for the quick pick into rotation, and it's off of what Mel can accomplish on the lurk. So she is IGLing also with how she's getting space, and on contact can instantly say, if she runs into this Neon, everyone expedite over towards B.
I think Mel did make contact there, so wants to try and back away here. Regroup with her team. Execute is forthcoming towards A, but I'm looking for this triple flank. Is the trip effective? No, but Ness will take care of Jazzykins regardless, and now she's able to tuck on the site with this Viper's Pit. Cloud9 are forced to disengage here, and with Guild not committing to the multi.
Smurfette is still posted in A main, is able to shut down Mel, and now what do Cloud9 White do? Mel is out of the picture, Jazzykins is gone too. Those are two of your biggest playmakers, especially on this map. Bob has done some crazy things before, knows there's going to be a player tower.
Trip still up on one side, the Viper's Pit on the other, and Guild actually wanting to continue to press the issue here. Great sees, but it's not enough to save Cat. Alexis stuck in this corner, getting destroyed by the utility, but somehow still alive. 1 HP, no worries, she'll claim 2. Cloud9 might be back in this round.
Alexis is just on one today. What is that? Still not looking easy with the Viper's Pit online. They have to creep on through. Actually using ultimate there to scout out. Bob is going to be removed. Roxy just a little bit too clean on that one. He'll take their second.
And you can hear how much the crowd loves this team. Roxy, the German representation here at Game Changers Champions.
I love it. We saw the Make Germany Proud sign in the crowd yesterday. Certainly on pace to continue to do that, especially with a win against Cloud9 White. Both teams coming in as the #1 seeds, but I think a lot of people still expect Guild to be the underdogs against C9. And for some good reasons, right? You can see what Alexis is accomplishing even in a losing round, but Guild, a big way to fight back there. And I think the lockdown, the stalling power of this composition could pose problems for C9.
I thought it was going to be a north side crunch, but instead it's another one of these contact pushes between Smurfette and Roxy. Is the timing right? Not quite. Alexis again will take down Smurfette. Trade is there, and with the spike drop, that's good information of C9's early intentions over to Guild.
I'm getting the vibes right now that, you know, usually you talk duelist, chamber, all this stuff. I'm feeling Alexis versus Roxy. That's my initial inclination right here as Jazzykins goes zooming into this A side. 2 players here, and Ness is able to hold very strong.
But Mel in main has already found one, the sole player anchoring on the stairs, and Ness can't be the monster today. Instead, it's going to be Guild with 2 on this retake.
Anya just taking it like a champ right there. Some brutal stuff. The position of that breach player is noted. Claudia and Roxy finding their way through here. Roxy with a 3K, Roxy in a 1v1. Roxy versus Mel. Just 30 HP and trying to walk herself out onto the site.
Does she have the timing on this one? Mel holding just on the other side. A tap on the spike, but Mel ready. Roxy can't do it this time.
Mel's got it all. The brains, the hands, the game sense, everything. The calm in the clutch to carry it through. And she has just been a rock. I mean, what a player on this team for so long. From building this team, from hand-picking the players, putting it all together. Bob, the newest addition, she has been at the top of Game Changers in North America. No one has surpassed here, and it's not going to happen in this clutch either.
Yeah, she just does not lose those. She may be the IGL, but she has these games. She can absolutely take over. Fast play here from Guild, though. Another one of these attempts at the south side crunch, but Cloud9 good with the reactive utility. It's only Mel here, and she can very much get out if she can just get to that zip line.
Oh no, Mel really getting pinched down on 1 kill, comes around the opposite side. Anya will trade it out.
But that's not a gun, that was just the tour de force. They don't gain much off of that, and C9 has the site in the meantime.
It's a bit of an awkward play there from Guild, because the reactive utility was actually Smurfette getting concussed by her own breach. There's not a breach on the opposite side to get that done.
Wait a minute, good reaction.
Just sort of sprinted into it, the 6th man from C9. As Bob holding the angle, as she often does.
Just these 2 players in main. Ness does find a big frag, but C9 have another one of these crossfires established. Jazzykins a relay bolt to pop off contact if she wants to stall this one a little bit more, and just forced away from this angle. Time ticking against her, still healthy. A duel versus Jazzy, she can take that one, but it's high-low from Cloud9 on the site.
And very nicely done, Guild. They, you know, bit of a scuffed by, go for the south side crunch. I think a lot of this aggression has just not worked because C9 are sort of playing that pack mentality. Even with Mel isolated on her own on the bot side, the only player to sort of stray away from the group. has the operator, is able to trade at least 1-for-1 at the end of the day. Does look like Guild in a good position this round.
Likely just be down on that save. They'll take their first tactical timeout here. And in this moment, I want to talk a little bit more about these compositions, because for Guild, with this Cypher in the mix, how much are they looking to achieve on this defensive side, do you think?
I mean, I would have been expecting quite a lot. Like, I think Cypher has so much value, especially when your opposition is not locking in the Rays on the opposite side, who can just break your utility so easily. There's a fade that can break a lot of those pieces, but I think that the way C9 have been playing, it hasn't been a lot of finding those wires and breaking them early on. If anything, Cloud9 have just adapted and are now ready for the trips and snapping them the second Jazzy runs through.
Yeah, and they've been playing a lot more of this mid-round. Pressure one side, get the reaction on the other side, punish that, and then reevaluate. I don't think we've seen really a single round where they went for just one of those like fast, like B site, like optic execs with the neon that you normally define this comp by.
Yeah, it seems like it's a lot of early scouting, you know, Mel playing on her own, trying to hear if there are going to be rotations, because players do get a little bit more loose with the rotations, I think, on Fracture, because you can just rotate so quickly on that defensive side. But if you can find out where the main stalling power is, right, the Cypher and the Viper are holding hands towards that A site.
Yeah, and look at the north side here. Mel is putting that trip just on the barrier outside B, because she knows Guild loves these walk pushes out arcade.
Yeah, you know, it is kind of hard for Guild to find flanks because their smokes are a Viper. How do you actually smoke past the trip? It's really Roxy if she's going to be flanking, but she's been much more of an anchor for the team, so it's very hard for Guild to actually find north or south side flanks with this composition and with the way Roxy's been playing for the most part.
And C9 was expecting another aggressive play on this eco. Guild's been throwing one pretty much every other eco in the past. There is aggression, but it's a bit more mild from Guild, just trying to set up these traps towards the north side. It's
interesting because Cloud9 White really just have not played towards A main much at all. And I think it is a symptom of not rocking the breach in your composition, so you can have that counter concuss. You have so much control there. Their neon is just so effective at sprinting on through. Now Jazzy has downloaded the positioning of those tripwires, or maybe just spamming entirely and got a little bit lucky on the first shot. But regardless, accomplishes exactly what she needs to call some rotations over.
She might have a timing here onto Cat walking all the way under. Cat only has the knife out. She's down. That's the spike too. Could become problematic for Cloud9. But look at Jazzy seizing this opportunity to walk into B.
And I like that Guild have played a little bit more restrained. Falling back entirely back towards Arcade, but this tower push from Jazzykin. She hears absolutely everything, finds the first kill, and is now in full control of the site. But Anya has a potential timing here if she were to commit up rope. But the longer she waits, the more suspecting Jazzykin's is, and that is 2 kills to start things off.
Just too aware to let that one by her. Bob trying to take another fight. She'll take the head of 2. Well controlled by Cloud9. They may have lost their spike, but the recovery is perfection. Roxy will hope for some damage, but it's Jazzy holding on the other side, and you just can't get past her.
Interesting idea from Guild there, the late underpass push. I liked it. He was able to find a kill in the eco, try to carve something out for themselves. Ultimately not enough to win there, especially with Jazzykins finding the timing, and as soon as she sees the 2 players underpass, oh, site's gotta be open. She instantly seizes that, even without the support of her team behind her. So again, it looks like C9 are just gonna stick to the sort of 4-1 split for the moment, potentially testing the north side of the map as we head into this next one. And interestingly enough, whoa, Ness is going to be rocking the operator. We didn't even talk about that, really. Guild's comp does not have a dedicated op slot as much as, you know, we've seen the Neop before and stuff like this. It is Ness to be able to hold things down.
Yeah, and look at this push. They've walked all the way up just outside the south side, trying to maybe activate a play forward off contact. Mel makes that contact. She's aware of the tendencies of Guild. They love these pushes, so she just wants to get out, keep her life. And that will activate Cloud9 to go for this fast hit towards A, set completely open.
Yeah, it might be a little bit hard to plant open without A main control. They might just go for it regardless, as Mel does drop on the north side of the map. Roxy very much in control. Jazzykins pushes on forward. They are finding absolutely everything. Cloud9 White are not satisfied with just the site. They want it all.
Bob pushing for more. That op is down in an instant. And it's only Roxy. North side, too slow to help her team, and trapped out of this one. The post plant well established by Cloud9, and with $0 in her account, this one might just be a save.
Yeah, this one is not looking too likely for Roxy. Cloud9 White with yet another very solid look, continually ping-ponging between leaning heavily towards north side or south side. Roxy finds her one, and is going to disengage from this situation, but that is...
Look at Jazzy. She is a
Oh my
psychopath.
God.
She's going across the zip. Okay, no chaos today. Just a little bit more damage for Roxy. Not bad out of her, but...
Okay, Roxy! Okay.
Eco frags, or excuse me, economy damaging
Oh,
frags.
man.
I guess that's the way to put it. Crowd loves it regardless.
Yeah, yeah. Look, Roxy just here to give a little show over towards the crowd. You know, Guild are known as, they do some trash talk sometimes. Anya, a player that's gotten in maybe a little bit of hot water, some deleted tweets here and there, has Guild too when they get the upset versus G2, bust out the trash bags and whatnot. But this is not the game they were hoping for, not the one in terms of the trash talk, and they're taking everything they can get.
If there's any trash talk, it just seems more that Cloud9 is displaying that their confidence is well earned. Coming into the tournament, they were telling us, we're going to win this 100%. This is our tournament, and they are looking to prove this. They love winning games dominantly.
C9 spotted 3 players, I think, drop there with Bob's knife, so they are instantly running over towards B. Now they know it is the Cypher and the Viper over on this area, so not tempting fate up near tower just yet. Instead, trying to push into CT. Look at that from Jazzykins as the fight is on site as well. She gets her one, falls back, considers another with the flash to get her into the situation. Cloud9 White are just tearing through Guild.
So many flanks upon flanks here. Cloud9 execute the site initially, then push deep towards spawn. Then Mel is wrapping, takes care of Roxy, who fell out from tower. So well executed out of them. That conk as well that Jazzykins threw, the relay bolt bouncing off the box to stun the player in spawn, was really cool stuff.
It goes to show that C9 White, who have been playing some fairly slow rounds, sort of testing the water, they get one big knife from Bob and instantly pivot. In no time at all, Mel says, we are going into B, we're going fast, ignore tower. They knew exactly what they wanted from that round.
And this comp is making more and more sense as I continue to watch. They're realizing that Guild is a team that will sometimes make these aggressive plays, that will, sometimes play these more slower entrenched rounds. And when you have this, in a way, double scout between the fade and this KO, you can gain so much information from Mel to call off of.
Yeah, Alexis has been so solid in terms of finding info and also just fragging out of her mind. She has been insane. I think this is the area of the map C9 White have gone toward most frequently, playing towards B main, see if they can find a peek. Mel peeking a little bit further out as Ness gonna tuck in there and stay alive.
Oh, Mel wants more though. Ness just prepping on this Viper's pit, but not hearing any players committing just yet. We'll save that for the time being.
Yeah, it's the
Mel's
last round.
mission is successful though. She just wanted to drop down that site for utility, and they're just gonna leave, rotate back to this A site.
Yeah, I mean, losing the ultimate there, not necessarily the end of the world. Just wait, Guild has fully rotated off of this A site. What is going on? Biting that one entirely. Claudia not in position to step in front of the smoke, and Jazzykins is just on a world tour, potentially looking to push into spawn, and there she is. Cloud9 White take 2.
Great crossfire there from Cloud9. Jazzy goes deep past her wall. Her teammates there to trade from behind, and there's only 3 left to make this retake happen. 1 from the north side. This player drop could be pivotal. How much can Anya do? It's Jazzykins just below her, waiting to try and find an opportunity. Alexis in a position to trade as well. And Guild's receiving no opening. They've already invested those cages to try and get out, but the smoke goes back up towards spawn. Flash will reveal the position of that KO. The camera broken. Jazzy at this point just sacrificed, trying to hold on to her space as long as possible, and she's done her job. Bob locks it down with 3, and Cloud9 White claim a dominant 10-2 half.
C9 are here to play. They took that loss to G2 personally and are trying to battle back against the EMEA region. Absolutely insane. A 10-2 half. And Alexis, the standout player here. Yeah, Bob, Jazzykins, everyone's looking good, but I've got to say Alexis really impressed.
Absolutely no weak link for Cloud9 White, but Guild, maybe still something going in the second half. We'll have a little chat with our desk before that.
Indeed, Mimi. Attack side of map, co-PM right here. But Heather, you got every right to be smug about this. You know why they look incredible.
Oh, yeah. Jazzy and Bob were absolutely popping off there in the later rounds, but I really think it's Alexis that set the tone for them. In those early rounds, the amount of, pushes that she was stalling. She was stopping the retakes. Some really nice like transfers here, crisp headshots. Like it was all about Alexis. And then her celebrations right after that, like they're mad. Like I said, she means business.
She's a warrior. Like the reactions that we're getting from her, especially the decision making later in the round, how she's 100% going into the plan. We were wondering if this was the right pick. Definitely just by this half, we can say that it is. But moving forward, what can we expect of Guild? Because now they're jumping onto the attack. Who has to step up? Definitely it has to be Smurfette. We've been seeing it in this past 2 days. She has to be the entry. She's going on the hunt for those first duels, and most importantly, there's not going to be a Cypher on the other side. But watch out, because you have Bob playing on the KO, and I think she's going to do wonders trying to stop Smurfette and every single entrance. Very important as well, we're talking about the double initiator, the double flashes on the side of Guild, everything to enable Smurfette. So Smurfette, girl, I don't know if you're nervous, but you should be, because everything's going to be on you.
Yeah, we got to see those smiles back from the team. You know, we were calling like a timeout needed to happen a little earlier, get their minds back into the game.
Well, this is going to be a massive pistol here for Guild if they want to get back into the game. And I'm going to throw this back to your casters, Ender and Mimi, to get the second half underway.
Yeah, Cloud9 White looking unstoppable here. Alexis, Bob, Jazzykins all absolutely dominating here on Fracture.
They are smurfing. C9 White looking so strong. And full credit to Alexis, whose micro just looks so incredible. So much improvement there. I just can't believe how consistent this player has become. But we'll see what Guild can accomplish here. If it's going to be a whimper or a fight here on Fractures. Very quickly just dealing with that chamber tripwire, and Cloud9 White slowly creep down towards the south side.
Roxy the one to receive. And aware of the possibility,
She saw
close on her
someone.
tripwire. She takes the swing, but unable to find a kill. Cloud9 will continue this push forward. Cat is hit. It's a pinch from main as well. Katsumi, an easy frag for her, and already a player advantage and full control of the south side.
Whoa, 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 it leaves B site open, but Guild are going for a bit of a tour. They go 3 into spawn. That leaves Anya completely isolated on site here. That could be somewhat problematic, but they have the Viper Orb blocking off B main. Now Cloud9 White, a very uncomfortable round, I think. Not many situations where the attackers have full control over defender spawn on Fracture.
A very strange round here, but Cat still has at least 1 star left in the tank. Bob some utility as well, and that wall for Jazzy, they have these layers to try and force Guild to fight. There's the first smoke. Guild will either have to rely on the spam or fight their way out of it. When does that tap come through? When is Cloud9 going to commit to this one? Spam is in. Is someone going to take this swing? Is someone going to commit to the fight? Smurfette will. Takes her kill. Alexis on the trade. Bob for another. And she's pushed deep into spawn as Mel just holds it down. Smurfette was locked in a corner. 4K will not matter as C9 take 11.
Oh, Smurfette tries absolutely everything there with the 4K. And I love the idea from Guild pushing in towards defender spawn, but Cloud9 White just get it done. Alexis and Mel close it out.
I feel you just need one player out of spawn. You need one player saying tower or north side or something to be that late backstab, because they should be aware that C9 has 2 characters left that could have smokes.
I think that's 100% the right read there, Mimi. And you know what? Guild are going to have to force into this round. Up against 11, light armor, 4 Spectres, so absolutely doable now for Guild. Not full utility, so Claudia actually out of flashes now. Only 1 concuss on Smurfette too. Not ideal, but they'll have to do something with what they've got. What is that? Smurfette right up inside of that wall. Bob concussed, but not going to be under pressure as Mel finds the kill on Smurfette.
Great work there out of Mel to support her teammate on the site. It's even trades towards B, as A will now be that destination for Guild. Cloud9 set up a little bit interesting. No one invested on this site. Said everyone out towards danger in main, but it doesn't seem to matter. Katsumi just gets a spam kill.
Roxy's position here is really good. Cloud9 White, yes, they have the numbers advantage, but Roxy could turn that right around with a well-timed peek. She's tempting forward as Claudia gets absolutely smashed. Mel continuing to swing on forward once, just a little bit more. The rest of C9 popping out of A main. It is match point for Cloud9.
It doesn't seem like anyone can stop Cloud9 right now. Sure, they are in the lower bracket, but when C9 is in the lower bracket, they are a dangerous beast. Remember a few game changes ago? Shopify beats them, they go down below. And Cloud9 talked about the fact that they were just pissed when that happened. They did not want to lose. They saw it as unacceptable to be in the lower bracket in Game Changers.
They were literally neon ulted. IRL, absolutely upset there. And now they have everything to play for. A lower bracket run, trying to go all the way. Guild, tournament lives on the line here in this BO3. Jazzykins in a lot of trouble, but is able to get on out.
Okay, somehow still alive. We stay even. Cloud9 holding towards door, but Guild finds 3. Mel late on this rotation, and Sight conceded.
You can't count C9 out, though, just yet, because Bob is alive, and Bob's got a Phantom. Mel, maybe a little bit more challenging to get something done.
But look at the
they're
health.
so
That's
low.
essentially an operator onto at least 2 of these players.
That is actually insane. Bob's actually going to set up Mel, potentially with an early flash, electing instead to play contact, but the setup with 2 players A main, 1 site, and 1 drop. This is a change from Guild. This is great.
And they have a Cypher cam for first contact. They confirm the location of Cloud9 and can adjust off
They
of
saw
that.
1. They only saw the 1.
Unaware of the second still. So many angles for Cloud9 to clear here, and Roxy activates. Well played out of her. Bob, can she make this happen to already? Time ticking against her, and Guild in a good pokes plant setup. 1 player low, Ness alone, and yeah, just not enough time to make it happen. Bob will fall away. Guild will take a round.
Yes, they will. Bob holds down, is able to remove Roxy from the field of play, and that is such a different Guild, right? Because we talk about the pistol round, all 4 players sprinted to roughly the same location. Defender spawn. This time, great setup. Multiple ways they can trade off one another, perfect angles, and C9 just cannot clear with 2 players alone. Still the skill of C9 close to make it real tight between those 2 teams, but Guild are able to think themselves through that round.
Roxy seems like the player that, if anyone, will be the savior for Guild. Another big round from her.
Another situation, look at the utility from Guild. It's just not there. Smurfette and Claudia don't have any, no flashes on Claudia, light armor on everyone. So it is gunplay galore here from Guild. I think early plays is the name of the game. You have to capitalize off those first pieces of utility, and Mel won't let it happen against Smurfette or Claudia.
Does not TP out, sticks around, and brings the player advantage to 2. Guild are out of options here. They're getting crunched from behind. They're stuck in A main. Roxy does have this spot that she has been in so often. Mel aware! 3 from the IGL. She's confident. Pops the ult. Knows that this is the round 2 closeout.
That is absolutely correct. It is Mel's world. She is on fire here. And a chance to even ace to close it out.
What a way it would be. 3 kills already. They're walking into her just maybe here. Guild reconsidering, cautious of this flank. Knows that they need perfection on this execute. The wall is up, so Mel off the line, and Guild, at very least, will have this sight unless Alexis has the angle. Not quite taken down by Ness. That's an opening, and the Aster Pool will miss, which means Ness gets to commit to this plant and the Viper's Pit.
2 players flanking A main from Cloud9, although the Viper's Pit won't make it easy. Anya, you gotta be aware, possibly there could be another player here. Jazzykins stabs her straight in the back.
It's just Ness. Can she hold on? 1 versus 3. Pit working in her favor. She spotted out Jazzykins, but Jazzy's got the shot. Cloud9 white, 13-3, dominate Guild on Fracture.
It's not just